Welcome back to Wandering. Have a space.
That accent. That accent.
That
Wandering.
Wandering. That's the name.
I forgot that you're going to actually talk in this video.
I know. So you better fucking buckle up. I have a very special guest today. His name is Arma, aka Armadillo, aka Dillo. Where did the name come from?
I had it when I was a little boy. I was probably 10.
Why did they give that to you?
I was playing football, and they said, that boy runs like an armadillo. And that's how I got the name. It stuck. Yeah, that.
But armadillos don't run, do they? They roll.
No, man, you don't know nothing about animals. They don't roll.
Don't they get in a little ball and start rolling?
How are you just going to start rolling? They like gymnastics and stuff?
Am I thinking about another animal?
I mean, if you pick him up and roll him, if he's in a ball, yeah, he'll roll.
But don't they get into balls?
Yeah, they get into balls to be covered up.
So when
they do run fast.
So when you were 10, they started calling you Armadillo because you were fast.
One of my coaches said, boy runs like an armadillo.
And it just stuck?
Yeah, well, I made it stick. I thought
you liked it that
I
much?
liked it pretty cool. My family didn't like it too much.
Can I disclose your real name?
No.
Okay. But he's Italian.
I'm full-blooded Italian.
You got an Italian name. Okay, Arma, tell him where you're from.
I'm from the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx, but I grew up in South Florida. Fort Lauderdale, Pompano.
Oh, Fort Lauderdale.
Cooper City,
what you told me.
which is country. They had the horses and everything. It was all farms. Cooper City. I went from New York to Florida to here.
How old were you when you moved to Florida?
I was probably 9.
So the next place you went was here? You went straight to Hawaii?
Well, yeah. I mean, then I came here a lot older when I was many, many years later.
How old were you?
Old enough to come here on my own. I came here to go surfing. And then I just stayed. Didn't leave. Just came with some chick and then my buddy and his fiance. And then we were in Oahu surfing. And then the girls were really pissed off because we didn't do nothing with them. And so we said, let's go to Maui.
Because y'all were just surfing all day.
Yeah, we surf. And
how that feels.
me and the girl was kind of like new, so it wasn't like him. It was his fiance. So she was really upset, I'm sure. So we decided, let's go to Maui for 3 days. And then the day we got here, we were just sitting at the beach, and I just said, I'm not going home. That was
Dang.
it. And I stayed. Then she eventually left. Yeah, I was born in the Bronx.
That's insane.
Yeah, well, it's very obvious where you're from.
You don't have
Some hillbilly town in the southeast. I mean, shit. I don't have what?
Why is that obvious?
I don't have an accent like
Why
what?
is that obvious?
Oh, wow. I can't tell.
Some people can't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I'm serving and bartending, some people say that.
Well, you got
they'll
5 states down there.
They'll
Georgia,
ask me where I'm
North
they'll
Carolina.
ask me where I'm from, and they're like, "Well, we didn't even realize you lost your accent."
Where the hell are they from?
That's because I
Another
put my
planet?
That's because I put my customer service voice on when I'm.
Oh, you're talking
I
monotone.
talk like California girls.
Hi,
My name's Macy.
what do you want to drink, big boy?
No big boys.
Come and do an interview in my room. I got 2 beds.
Okay, Armadillo.
Poor Spartacus.
Armadillo. This is why the setup is like this right now, because he didn't want to sit on the bed.
I ain't sitting on no bed.
Do the interview. This is the only spot that I have right now. We actually are staying in the same place. It's like a house.
Same building,
Same
same place.
The same building. It's like a housing hotel. Did you immediately go to Lahaina?
Yeah, I stayed in Lahaina.
How many years were you in Lahaina?
30 till the fire.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, that was when Baby Beach was like no one knew about. There was nobody on Baby Beach in those days. I mean, nobody. Just people who lived there, and barely any of them. I'm talking about no one all day long. It was amazing how that place changed. Now it's just a mess of tourism.
When would you say you noticed things were like starting to change so much?
Well, I mean, I got here in 93 in spring, and I can't imagine how nice it must have been before that, even, years before. But like the roads were only one way. I mean, meaning one lane in each direction, like from Lahaina all the way up to Kanapali, all the way up to Hanakauai. It was one lane each side.
Dang.
Then they redid the roads. It's just once they started building north of Black Rock, there was nothing there. There was no big old hotels there. It was just a beach with kiawe trees overhanging the water. It was amazing. And then, there might have been a place right at the golf course where people lived, but none of that stuff, all the way up to Hanakauai, to the pink building up there. There was nothing there. I mean, nothing. It was really nice. And now you can't
can't even imagine.
Now you can't even go there. It's just too many people everywhere. It's crazy. Yeah, that's how I noticed it.
But how many years were you say you were here?
Well,
until it started happening?
I don't know.
It was just happening gradually?
Yeah.
Just one.
Well, they're making they try to make it happen
another.
as fast as they can because, the more they can get on the beaches. I'm not trying to be negative of this place, but they don't care about the people who live here. They care about the hotels, how many hotels they can get on the beach, and how many tourists they can get here. This is for tourists. This island. It's not for people who live here. It's not for your kids, not for your grandkids, not for their grandkids. It's for tourism.
It's sad.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about what happened here, and it's continuing. And they're still trying to put more places out. So.
Yeah, I think it's just going to get worse.
No, it can't get better. It'll never get better. There's no way it could get better. There's no way it can get better. It's just going to continue.
Yeah, I don't
to grow.
even know what they would do to make it.
There's nothing they can do. They're not going to do anything. Unless everything was a park and made into a park on the beaches, beach parks, that's the only way you wouldn't be able to have development there. Eventually, development's going to get wherever there's not a beach park. It's going to get there. Either hotels, mostly hotels. So that's what's happening. So that's how long I've been here. From beaches completely deserted to nonstop buildings with massive tourism.
And you stayed around.
I got no place to go now.
But you stayed around then, even when it was changing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was cursing it and fighting it all the way.
Yeah.
I did a couple little article things about what I just said. It's all about tourism. Again, it's not for the people who live here at this island. This is for tourism.
You never thought of going somewhere else, moving somewhere else when you were?
Well, at that time I was really into surfing. So the surfing's got me here. That's why I got here in the first place. That's why I stayed. The surfing. I didn't really stop surfing until maybe 4 years ago. I just kind of it's just too crowded.
I know, but you paddleboard surf.
Well, that's different. I mean, I don't have to deal with 500 people. And I don't do paddleboard surfing as much as I do paddleboard racing.
Yeah.
I only go surfing once in a blue moon. I surfed for over 40 years.
Do you like paddleboard surfing?
I like
more?
paddleboard way better, mostly because of the competition, not because of the surfing. But the thing with paddleboarding, as people who do paddleboard, they know they can go anywhere, and it's a lot easier to get around.
Did you start surfing in Florida?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
So you started surfing in Florida and you were that obsessed with it then? And then you were like,
Yeah.
I got to go to Hawaii?
I used to hang out with these two young boys who kind of like delinquents, yeah. They're better now. They haven't been in trouble for years. They're grown men now. And they were really into it. And it was kind of fun to hang out with them. I was a lifeguard when I met them. And I already knew how to surf, but it wasn't my lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, so the two kids, once they got out of jail, they started hanging out with me.
They were delinquents like
Oh,
that.
they were bad, yeah. I'm not going to say their names, of course, but they used to steal cars down in South Florida
Dang.
and drive them up to North Florida and sell them to some guy who was buying them off of them. They were only 14 and 15 years old.
Whoa.
And then they'd take the bus back. So these two kids, they never went to school. And sometimes when I'd wake up in the morning and go to work as a lifeguard, they'd be sleeping in my van. They'd get into the van. I had a VW van. And I'd start up the van and they'd pop up in the back because they skipped school. So I'd take them to the beach. It was pretty fun.
And y'all surf.
And we had so much fun. Yeah, I used to take them surfing up in Melbourne and Cocoa Beach. And we had a lot of fun together.
Y'all still talk?
Yeah. I actually, both of them, I have talked to both of them. And they're doing really, they changed their lives around completely.
Dang. So you were surfing and you were boxing.
I was always in the sports. So sports, yeah, I was always in the sports.
And you were a pro boxer.
There was a time.
There was a time
There was a time for some years, yeah.
when you were a professional boxer.
Yeah.
Did you call it quits for boxing because of you didn't want to get hurt or?
No. I just, after 8 years, you only start getting it's just physical abuse after a while on yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't function as good as you used to. You only get worse. You don't get better. Like the new generations nowadays, they're so advanced compared to 20 years ago. And in 20 years from now, the new generations then will be even more advanced than these guys. So it's called evolution, which some people don't believe in.
Why are you coming at me? Because you know I believe in Jesus.
That's okay, Jesus.
You don't believe in Jesus?
I thought we were going to talk about religion.
We ain't going to get on that topic with you. Where all have you lived? You've only lived 3 places?
Yeah.
You've traveled the world, though, you said.
Yeah, I've been around the world, the places I wanted to go.
Where did you really want to go? Where did you go?
I went to Italy, went to Spain, France, Germany, Australia twice, New Zealand twice, Thailand, all through the Caribbean. I've been to probably 12 or 13 islands in the Caribbean.
Yeah. Were you surfing?
No.
You're just traveling?
That was just, just chilling. I would only go on spring break.
Wait, what?
When all the chicks were out of school. As I would just go during spring break. It's more fun, so everybody's out instead of being with all the old people.
You would travel on spring break?
Yeah.
How old were you? Were you in college or?
College?
Yeah.
I didn't even finish high school.
Well, you didn't say that.
Well, I just told you.
You didn't finish high school?
No. Why would I do that?
I bet your mom.
I got a whole life to live. I wouldn't go to school nowadays if I was a kid. There's so much out there in the world.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I guess I'm a bad influence.
No, my sister literally just started her own homeschool because she doesn't want her kid to go to public school. And she was a teacher at public school. And she wasn't
I just was not good with people telling me what to do. So that's all.
You just been working.
Yeah, I've been working since I was, I got into sports when I was 17 because I was out of school before 17. And I've been working my whole life.
Where was your favorite place that you've been? I feel like you like the Caribbean.
Yeah, the Caribbean islands are awesome. And I think my favorite place I've ever been was New Zealand. Really? And probably Italy. Those two. I don't know which one I like better.
Italy? Why Italy?
It's just beautiful. Everybody speaks not like you. It's perfect.
What's wrong with speaking like me?
Well, they're not being Alabama or something.
Yeah, they speak Italian. Do you speak Italian?
Do they speak Italian with an accent?
Do you speak Italian?
Only bad words.
What's a bad Italian word?
I'm not going to say.
I know some Italian.
Well, okay.
Bella.
Well, wow.
That's beautiful. I'm just surprised because I've never been to Italy. There's water? I know there's water.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. Well, the coast. Then you also have Venice, which is all water. But it's pretty well polluted, but it's beautiful. Architecture and things like that.
Yeah.
Spain is really awesome. I mean, the things I've done it wasn't like touristy stuff. Like in Italy, in Spain, we got a donkey.
What you mean you got a donkey?
We got a donkey. And we went through the mountains for, I think, 9 days. Just me.
You were riding on a donkey?
No. Me and the girl and the donkey. The donkey was carrying our stuff. I went from village to village to village, and we stayed in villas. We even stayed in a castle, which was really nice. And because you have host places.
Yeah.
And then
were you guys like couch surfing, as they call it now?
No, these were villas. We had the whole places to ourselves. So we had this donkey. His name was Platero. And he was our buddy for 9 days, and went through the mountains, me and this girl. And we'd stop at each village, and we'd have a host house, and we'd stay at the house. It'd be there. And then we'd have somebody come cook for us in the morning, cook for us in dinner. And then we did the same thing in France, but we got a horse and a carriage, like a gypsy wagon. It sleeps like 4 people, but it was just us 2.
Was it relatively cheap? Like, did
No.
you just work and save up and then would just go?
Well, I had money saved from when I was in sports and stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
So
Because you got big checks from boxing.
well, the thing is I don't spend money on. I don't drink. I don't party. So it's like I don't spend my money.
You never have, though?
My biggest bills are my food bills, because I eat a lot.
Yeah.
You
You
know.
never have drank and partied?
Last time I had a drink, I was 17.
Wow. Dang. So you were doing all that traveling. You weren't really like.
No, the truth is though, again, once I was in Italy, though, I did have half a glass of wine, because I'm Italian, and I did that, and that was the last time I drank. So, but when I was 17, and then 14, 15 years ago was the last time I tasted alcohol.
Dang.
Yeah. So I save a lot of money that way.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, and then music. I played music and got some music on Spotify and iHeartRadio and blah, 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 blah. So I always have a little money somewhere.
When did you start getting into music? Were you always?
I started getting into music when my fighting career was going down. I started gravitating to music. Some girl bought me a guitar for Christmas, and I was like, oh, this is cool.
Girls, girls, girls. You got a list. I'll have to put a picture of what Armadillo looked like when he was younger.
No, you don't.
Not that you're not good looking now.
Oh, well, thank you.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Right? I know what you mean. I don't know what you mean.
But
And when I was still fighting, I started playing guitar. And then I just taught myself how to play. And my friends would lie to me and tell me everything sounded good. I think they were worried about me getting angry at them. But then I kept playing and kept playing, and that's what I do now.
You do sound good.
Well, that's what I do now, but it took a lot of years to do it. So.
Just the guitar? Did you ever play? And did you just?
Well, my very first instrument was actually a accordion.
Really?
I was probably 7 years old. When you're from the Bronx and you're Italian, they stick an accordion in your hand. I said, you better start learning how to play accordion.
What? What does that have to do with Italians?
Well, Italians, they always play the accordions. It's Italian.
When I was in the Italy part of Las Vegas, they were
were
in
they?
the boat like that.
Yeah. But no, Italians, that's when you're a little kid, and especially when I was growing up in those days, yeah. They stuck an accordion in my lap. I was too small. I couldn't carry it. My mom had to carry it into the music store and got my lesson. And then I couldn't even lift the thing up. I was just a little tiny kid.
Yeah, God.
All I needed was a monkey, yeah. A monkey and an accordion, I could have been rich.
But you gave that You gave that dream up.
Yeah, I gave up the monkey and the accordion dream up.
Stuck to the guitar.
Yeah, well.
And you just start writing?
Yeah.
You're
Started
just
writing
like,
music.
I was gonna write me a song.
Yeah, I started writing music.
Was the first song you ever wrote a love song?
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it. Do you ever
Let
play
me tell you what,
Do you ever play
mostly
it?
every guy that writes a song is usually a love song.
That's how y'all get your feelings out.
Yeah, it keeps us from killing people. It's amazing.
I want to hear more stories like the donkey stories.
Well, the donkey and the Shantae, that was the horse. Shantae. He was a big Clydesdale. And we had him, and we'd go through the south of France, through all the farms and fields, and just acres and acres of land. And it was really cool. And we did the same thing. We got to a host house, but we stayed in the wagon. Like I said, it had 4 beds, had a bathroom, it had a sink. It was just like a big mobile home. You should know that where you're from. A big mobile home. A big mobile home.
Ain't nothing wrong with the trailer, okay?
Hey, look, I lived in one for many years. That's where we grew up in Florida. We had a trailer.
Trailer trash, then you too.
I am trailer trash, and we're proud of it. Me and my brothers. We talk about it all the time.
Double wide or single wide?
We had a double wide, 60 foot long.
That's a big one.
We had like 12 people living in there.
What is your craziest travel story? Like, what's one that really stands out to you? I actually know a few that you've told.
Stowing away on a cruise ship. That's a travel
the one
story.
I was thinking of.
I did that twice. So yeah, I got to do that. That was pretty cool. Stowed away on a cruise ship out of Miami. 7-day cruise. Had no idea where we were going. We didn't know how many days it was. And we got caught the last day. That was in 1985. And then 1987, I did it again on the same ship. 7 days. Got away with it the second time.
You got away with it the second time?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're going on the boat, like they didn't check anything.
Well,
I've never been on a cruise.
Okay,
so
well,
I have
in those
no
days,
idea.
on those days, you didn't have all what they have now. Now you can't even get near the ships.
Oh.
In those days, also, they let people get on sometimes to say goodbye to other people. I don't know. I don't think our ship was doing it at the time, but it's a lot. It's like the airports now. You can't get near the cruise ships. So, yeah, we actually, by us getting caught, that actually started a new system of security for the cruise lines, which was really cool. No, they had to do it because of terrorism and shit like that. So.
Where was the cruise ship going, you said?
Well, we were in Miami, and then we left Miami and went all to the Caribbean.
It was you and your friend.
Yeah, me and my buddy.
Did y'all just were y'all just sitting on the porch yo, we should go sneak on a cruise ship and...
No, I don't want to get into how long it took to how it worked out. No, we didn't plan it. It was an accident. Me and my homie, my buddy at the time, me, him, and my girlfriend at the time, were going to Miami. We're going just to the beach to chill. On the way there, we stopped at the cruise ships because I've been on quite a few of them, and I was trying to get him to go with me. And so we stopped at the ship. Well, there was like 8 ships in a row in Miami, in the port of Miami, and it's early in the morning. And like I said, you can get right up to the cruise ships, right up to the gangplank, right to the door. There's always security there, though. When we got to the one cruise ship, which was the Norway at the time, which doesn't exist anymore, that was the largest ship in the world. There was a group of travel agents going on. They go on early in the morning, take a tour, so that way when they go back to their jobs, they can sell the tour. So while there was probably 7 or 8 of them, and me and my buddy and my girl, I said, oh, we can sneak on with these guys. It'd be pretty cool. Not to stay on the ship, but just to see if we can get on. Mm-hmm. And we're in the back of the group, and the security looked at us, and we just said, we're with them. And he goes, oh, go ahead. So that's how we got on the ship.
That's wild.
That was pretty cool. And then while we were on the ship, we were there for a couple hours just cruising around. We weren't with the tour. We broke off and just cruised around. And me and my buddy was sitting on top of 13 stories high above Miami. And I said, hey, dude, we could stay on this ship. And he says, you want to stay on the ship? I go, yeah, we can do this. And how much money did we have? Well, in 1985, $27 went a long way because we only had $27 between us.
Holy crap.
And we had a lot of time to think about this because the ship doesn't leave after 4 hours. But after a few hours, people started getting on. So I told my girl at the time, I said, listen, you need to get off the ship, go down and call my brother Michael to come pick up my car because she couldn't drive my car. And then my brother Michael came with my father, and we saw them in the parking lot. And they were yelling. My father was yelling at me to get off the ship. I'm like, we ain't getting off this ship. And we're with all the people.
He almost got y'all called.
They couldn't hear nothing. It was so far away. And he was just yelling and screaming, and that was it.
You were like...
That was it. And we just hung out with the people until the last day we got caught.
What happened when y'all got caught?
We got in trouble.
Did you go to jail?
We were in jail on the ship. They have a jail on the ship.
For real?
Until they figured out who we really were, because we had no identification. We had nothing. We were going to the beach. Everything that I had identification-wise, like my driver's license, was in the car.
Yeah.
You know, we were just stopping at the port just so I could show my homie the ships, yeah. So we had no ID. They didn't know where we got on. They didn't believe we got on in Miami because of the security. It was so good. And then because security is good, when they start embarking, then they go.
After the agents and stuff get on.
Yeah, so this is early in the morning. This is like 9 o'clock in the morning. People don't start boarding till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's how we got on. And then, we got caught the last day. They figured out who we were, that we didn't have a room. We were sleeping outside. It was awesome.
Was it worth it?
Oh, yeah. That's why I did it again 2 years later.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And then that time you didn't get caught. Well, they didn't jack up the security, did they?
No, they didn't. It wasn't at the time. It was kind of like the same scenario 2 years later. It didn't happen, but that's exactly what happened the second time again. But that was with another friend of mine who we didn't only have $27. I had $100 with me. He gave me $100, and he got off the ship, and I stayed on by myself. And I did it. It was pretty cool. We had a great, awesome family help me get off. They got me disembarking passes. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
That's awesome. They were like,
I would love to
tell them what was going on?
Oh, they knew. I would love to say their names, but I don't want to do that to them. But it's true. They had a daughter. I met the daughter, and we got along really well. And she figured out that I wasn't staying in a room. And then,
wait, where were you sleeping again?
Just outside on the patio. I mean, not like on the pool deck. And she kind of knew. Well, they did know after a while, her and her friends. And it was just, her parents were like real cool. They're like, we'll help you get off this ship, but if you get caught, we don't know nothing. I was like, okay, cool. And we've been friends ever since then.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, sometimes bad decisions.
No, that's not a bad decision. That was a great decision.
I want to hear the story about this sand in your car.
Oh, sand in my car, yeah.
What in the hell?
So ever since I started driving, I would get beach sand and fill up my floorboards with beach sand.
Was this in Florida or was this here?
Florida and here too. So wherever I had a car, I'd fill it up. I'd take the spaghetti strainer and just strain all the sand into a big bucket, have pure white Florida beach sand. Then I started collecting sand from different places, different islands in the Caribbean when I would travel. And I'd bring a little bit of sand home and add it to my car. True story.
I wish.
But people would get in, I'd make them take their shoes off.
Something.
It was beautiful. Beautiful white sand.
Like in the driver and passenger seat and
in the back, the whole floor.
How
just
many feet of
super
sand?
Thick. Just super thick.
So when you got in, you
Your
were like,
feet can go under.
It's like you were stepping on a beach.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody loved it when they got in the car. They throw their shoes in the back, in the hatchback.
How did you get that idea?
I just
wanted to do it.
This happens when you're mentally ill. And then I did it here too. I used to anytime I had a car, I would do it. And it was just so awesome. Yeah,
You had a car here?
yeah, I had quite a few of them.
When did you stop getting a car?
When I didn't need them. I only bought them for moving my music equipment around, you know, because I'd live in Lahaina, I'd play music in Kihei, you know, just that was the whole situation. And then I had a car of whatever I wanted, but I never cared about them too much. I mean, the last car that I had, it got towed, and I didn't even go pick it up.
You're just like, keep it.
Fuck it. Yeah, because I got 2 tickets 2 days in a row for parking. And at one of my girlfriend's houses in Hanakauai, and I got a ticket. And I was like, oh. Then the next day I got another ticket. And then I parked in the other condo area, and they got it towed. So that was it. I was like, I don't want no more cars. That was the last car I had. That was probably,
Dang, yeah. How long ago was that?
I don't know, 1999.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah. No, I'm telling you the truth.
I was
2000. You were born.
I was 4.
4?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
never wanted to, I mean, Lahaina was it for you? You never wanted to try a different island or move anywhere else?
No, Lahaina.
Yeah.
30 years. Lahaina. So, I mean, I lived in Kihei for a really short time with some girl who eventually kicked me out, but that was a real short time. But Lahaina is where Lahaina is where I would live. I mean, I know, you know, I know it well, and the people that were there. So,
Are there people here that were here when you were younger?
like
Like that you ran around with when you first got here?
I think most of them are dead.
You're not that old.
No,
Come
no, they're older
on.
than me, is what I'm saying.
Oh.
So I'm not saying that. There's only, well, you know, I mean, we can go to Spartacus. Spartacus is the only person that I ever hang out with.
Okay,
I mean-
Spartacus is Joe, my boyfriend.
Well, anyway,
He calls him Spartacus.
he looks like Spartacus.
What, you just started, when you randomly met him, did you just say your name's
Spartacus.
Spartacus now?
It looks like a Greek god, man. Spartacus. Anyway, so he's probably the only person that I hang out with. There's a couple guys that if they're here and we go fishing, we might fish together for a little bit, but most of my friends are gone.
Can you explain a little bit about the outrigger and like the history of that? When you did the tours, did you have to give like a little spiel of everything?
Well, we used to do the Hawaiian cultural tours.
Yeah,
Well, it's just very
Hawaiian
basic
cultural
things.
tours.
You have 6-man canoes. You have 4-man canoes. You have 2-man canoes, and you have single canoes. The 6-men are usually used for racing. 4-mans are made for surfing. The smaller boats, because they're easy to maneuver. Of course, it's a lot of fun being in the 6-man. You was in the 6-man, right? That's a lot of fun.
I know my chance.
Yeah.
Imua,
Imua.
lava.
Lava.
What's the other one?
Opoi. Opoi. I can't say it. So opoi means get ready. Amua means go. Lava means stop. So yeah, so you have those basic canoes. You have ama, which is the heart of the canoe. That's the piece that's holding the canoe down. The akus are holding the ama. And then you have your canoe, or the va'a. It's pronounced W-A, but it's pronounced, I mean, it's spelled W-A, but it's pronounced va'a with a V. Because W is kind of like a V in Hawaiian.
Mm-hmm.
And they do long distance racing on the big boats, on the big canoes. The
But
6-mans.
what's the history of the outriggers? Like,
Well,
did
that
they
was-
just use them?
That was the Hawaiians' transportation. Just like if we was to go to one end of the island to the other, well, we're not going to walk. We'll take the canoes. They're a lot faster. And then we go into island, and that's how they go fishing. That was their livelihood. That was part of a family. I don't know how many canoes each family would have, but let's say they had 2 canoes. Well, that family goes down in generation to generation to the families. And of course, they make new ones when they have to and repair them. That's the families. That was the most important thing to the families.
Wow.
So the people who lived on the ocean would gather the fish. People who lived in the mountains would have the whatever vegetables they would have, the taro, and they would always work together. It wasn't really for money. It had nothing to do with that. It wasn't bargaining. It's just the people down on the ocean side would give the fish, and the people on the mountainside would give the foods from the fruits and things, and they worked together in harmony like that. Not like Costco or Foodland or freaking Rip-Off, Safeway. All these guys are a bunch of thieves.
We don't have to work for our food anymore, you know? We're not waking up saying we need to go.
No, you got to work for your food. Believe me, we work for it another way.
Yeah, that's true.
Brutal.
So you and Joe, Spartacus, y'all met at Goofy Foot.
Yeah.
And then the rest is history.
Yeah. Now I'm stuck hanging out with him.
And me.
And you.
Sometimes. Are you having a miserable time?
No, I'm fine.
I think it's been good.
No pressure on you. You just ask the question. Let me ask you a question.
I want to hear a little about Christmas Island, though.
I can't explain Christmas Island. You're gonna get
People don't even know.
You're gonna get me into something that it'd be negative. How people perceive what paradise is. Mm-hmm. It's actually, you can look at it two ways. It's a frame of mind. So the people that I meet on the beaches every day, they think I live in paradise. The thing
people in Christmas Island?
No, here.
Oh.
People I meet here every day. So I'm making a perspective of what people think paradise is. It is a perspective of your mind. Because people come here and they tell me how lucky I am to live in paradise. And then I got to say in a nice way, and I'm not being a mean way or a negative, I'm saying, well, you look out in the ocean, that's paradise. You look back inland, this is the same as any other city anywhere else. And when you walk on the beach and you're looking out in the ocean, yeah, you're in paradise. When you're walking on the streets and see the homeless people and the people without money and the drugs, this is the reality. So what I tell people what paradise really is, if you want to talk about a physical aspect of it, like places like paradise, like Christmas Island, some of the places like that. There are areas in Christmas Island that are not paradise because people do live there, and the poverty is insane. It's very, very poor people. I mean, really, really poor.
Yeah.
So, but if you look at them, they're actually living on a paradise and in a paradise. They're not living in America. And most of the whole place of that, it's the largest atoll in the world. So it's the largest lagoon in the world. It's over 240 square miles of lagoon. The land is on just strips on the very outside. It doesn't even make a full circle of strip. It's not like an island's in the middle and then there's a lagoon around it. The land is on the out edge of it, not even around the whole thing, just a strip. And the lagoon is just lagoon with reef all around it, except for little pieces of the land. So 99% or more of that place is uninhabited. So when you think about what paradise would really be, it's where people do not live. Once people move somewhere,
humans ruin it.
It is no longer paradise. It's just, that's the reality. So when people do come here and they say, wow, this is paradise. Well, for them it is because of where they come from. But when I go to other places and travel in the Caribbean and here, where people do not live, I can see a big difference.
See, I think it is paradise here.
Well, that's cool.
But I totally agree with what you're saying.
But it's a frame of mind. Because you're looking at it as a frame of mind because where you come from. But if you go places where there are no people, you're going to be like,
oh,
wow.
Yeah. If there wasn't a whole freaking strip of
condos
in Conopoli.
And tourists. So the thing is by me moving here, I was part of the problem. That's all there is to it. You can't sugarcoat it. I am part of the problem. So I remember when I moved here in 93, there was really nobody here. I mean, it was pretty deserted.
Would you have called it paradise then?
Yes, because I was naive. And that was 30 years ago. Till I actually get to see places where I could compare this place to. Mm-hmm. Because this place compared to Florida, where I'm from, it's way nicer than Florida. Just like I'm saying, you came from Mississippi or wherever the hell you came from, some hillbilly place.
Not Kentucky.
Not Kentucky. So there's always, it's the frame of mind of where you are. So I understand what they're saying, but when they tell me I'm lucky to live here, I'm not lucky to live here. I made a choice to live here. I had to give up a lot of things to live here.
Yeah.
I can't afford to live here. I mean, you barely can afford to live here.
Yeah.
And you have to work. And going to other places I've been in France, I'm not saying it has to be a beach with sand on it to be a paradise. You can be in the desert and it's amazing. The life there, of the animals that live there, the ecosystem, that's a paradise because nobody lives there. But once somebody moves there, like I said, people like me who moved here, I'm part of the problem. I can't call this place a paradise, especially when I see other places that I do go to travel around the world, places in New Zealand, places in Australia. There's no people. You get to visit, absolutely, but you leave it that way when you leave, and it's all you know it's there, and that's what paradise is.
But wouldn't you consider this home?
No, this is not my home. This is the Hawaiian people's home. I am here on vacation since 93. This is not my home. This is the Hawaiian people's home. My home is actually the Bronx in New York City, where I was born. And even though I spent more time in South Florida, New York is my home. That's where I was born. So that's my home. And again, this is the Hawaiian people's home. This is not mine. This is theirs.
But how do you not be the problem? Like me and Joe, like we're also the problem.
Yeah. Well, the trouble with here is anywhere here in Hawaii, it's too late. I mean, if you want to just say, well, I'm being very good with the ecosystem and I'm very respectful to Hawaiian people. Well, you actually have to be. Because if you don't, you're not going to be here. Or you're not going to be welcomed here. I have my friends who are great musicians, and they're local guys, and they're the canoe guys, and all the guys that I paddle with. Yeah, they're all local. I've had people say to me, dude, you're just like a Hawaiian. I'm not a Hawaiian. I don't want to be a Hawaiian.
But they see you as equal.
They do see me as equal because I respect what their values are, which is great. But I'm not Hawaiian. I don't want to be Hawaiian. I'm happy who I am.
Yep.
But I am giving them their respect because this is their home. It's not my home. I am a visitor. I don't care how long I stay here. That's the big thing. Oh man, you've been here so many years. It doesn't matter. I was here when these little kids were little kids. Now they have their own kids. This is not my home. So it sounds kind of a negative way, but it's the reality. It's reality.
It doesn't at all. It's something that I think more people need to hear. And
well,
I'm glad I got to hear it. I like the paradise.
Absolutely.
Perspective.
No, I mean,
That's definitely, I've never even thought of like looking at that.
But look at the word paradise as a frame of mind though. Okay. Because it was paradise for the Hawaiian people when they lived here, but it's not no more. And it never will be. And there are people who are raised in a really great way to accept visitors and people like me here. And that's really a nice, comforting feeling. I understand that. I mean, I really appreciate it. I mean, it's great when the guys are talking about canoeing with me and when they just think I'm one of them. But I know deep inside I'm not. And I know deep inside they know that I am not. And that's fine. That's absolutely respected because they're still respecting me. And there are the other ones who don't respect you. And that's what gives you the wake-up call of they've been hurt. They're only reacting that way because they're hurt. Their families have been hurt. Their customs have been hurt. Their generations have been hurt. And you got to understand that. I'm still not going to leave if I don't want to. If I leave, it's because I want to leave. Maybe I'll go somewhere else. I don't know. But I'm not leaving because somebody doesn't want me here. But I mean, on that aspect of it, being just that negative. But
I'm white and I'm privileged. I've never experienced anything like that before.
Yeah.
So when I came here for the first time and a local guy was like really mean to me and saying mean things, I was like crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is how everybody else feels when everyone else does it to them.
It depends how you're brought up.
Yeah, I was like, this is a shitty feeling. I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
Or it depends is what's done to you. I mean, you know, how they look at economics wise. They're all working in hotels serving white people.
Yeah, it's not good.
So imagine us going. And
I'm white, and I hate being in a hotel serving the white people.
Yeah, so imagine us going. I've been to a place called Dominica. I was there for 30 days. I was the only white person. And I wasn't welcomed at all. And it was pretty freaky. It was freaky. So, but I understand. People that I do meet in Christmas Island, the guys who work there, they live amazing. They just don't know they live that way.
Is it a part of Australia? You got to break this down for me again.
Yeah, kind of. It's not a part of Australia, but they do use Australian money also. It's their own country.
Well, what are the people called?
It's called Kiribati. They're not Australian. It's called
they're called Kiribati?
Kiribati, but it's spelled Kirritmati. Yeah, so
but there's no
they're their own people.
They don't have anything to do with like the Aboriginals or anything. The original people of Australia.
I don't know how far back it goes to. I don't know. They don't consider themselves Australian.
Okay.
They're Kiribati, and there's 30 islands. There's 32 islands, I think. And
crazy. What language do they speak? Do you know?
It's Kiribati.
It's that?
Yeah, they speak that language.
That's so cool.
Yeah, you listen. You never hear anything other than what that sounds. You don't have not a clue. I mean, I learned
Arma goes there to fish.
Yeah, I went there. When I go there and talk to I'm there with the guys, so it's pretty fun to be with them, and you learn words, but simple things like fish and rock, because you don't need to know anything. Food.
Yeah. But that was awesome. I love the little spiel.
Yeah, man. Pretty cool.
I did want to talk about your health and your lifestyle, but maybe we'll do that next time.
I ain't doing this again. You better ask him now.
Do you want to talk about that? Because he eats like my boyfriend, Spartacus.
Yeah.
Animal-based diet.
Yep.
When did that start? You changed your lifestyle. I mean, you've never drank or anything.
No. So I got when I used to do a lot of racing. And I started having problems in my solar plexus. Felt like I always had like gas, or just but indigestion. No pain, just gas. And I just went to a regular checkup. I go every 6 months. And when I was leaving the door, walking out, I just said to the doctor, I said, "Man, I always got this freaking heartburn. And I don't know what it is I'm eating." And he said, "Oh, why don't we do an EKG?" And I'm like, "Why would EKG? Well, I don't need one. That's bullshit." But he goes, "Look, you're not coming back here for 6 months. Why don't we just do it? It takes 5 minutes." So we did it. And he goes, "Well, it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look right. You need to really get it checked out." He goes, "I'm going to make an appointment with you with a cardiologist." And right then the pride and the ego takes over. I don't even know freaking cardiologist. I just won like 6 races in a row, paddleboard and shit, right?
How old were you here at this point?
I don't remember.
I hate you.
And so anyway, he did set me up for one. I went to a cardiologist. And again, I have no pain anywhere, ever. And the cardiologist made me run on the treadmill and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. He goes, "You need to go to the hospital today because obviously he goes, we see that you didn't have a heart attack, but you're going to have one. You do have problems." So I went 2 days later into the hospital, put the dye in you, and they found 98, and 97% blockage in my arteries. So I didn't have a heart attack, but I would have had. Yeah, but this is all connected.
Weird, yeah.
It's all connected. They explain all that to me. I didn't have one, but I would have had one. So what's the common procedure for it? Well, I was thinking to put stents in. They said, no, we can't do stents with you. You're going to have to open you up. They did that. The next morning I woke up. I was paralyzed on my left side. So I couldn't speak. I couldn't move my fingers. I was dead, just dead rubber. Felt like a rubber basketball. And they said, well, obviously you had a stroke on the table. So I had a stroke, and that's what the real problem was.
Did you have a stroke while they were?
Yeah, when they did the operation. So next morning when I woke up, I had a stroke. They didn't know until the next day. And I just told the nurse, and well, she could see that my face was just completely hanging, and I had no feeling. I couldn't move, nothing. I couldn't do anything. So that's what the big problem was. So the neurosurgeon came in. We don't know what's going to happen. We have no clue. We don't know how long it's going to last, if it's going to be permanent, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I didn't go to therapy because I wouldn't go, because I didn't want to be hanging out with the old people.
Pride and ego.
Pride and ego, because I ain't old. Maybe in a number I am, but not physically or mentally.
No, you're not.
So I didn't go, went home, had a really hard time for I don't know how many months. 4 or 5 months till I was able to start walking on my own. First thing I did, I got back to Goofy Foot and got on a paddleboard, started paddling around.
Were you doing your own rehab?
Yep. I'd be in my room, laying on the floor. I had 5-pound weights. The first time I went back to the gym in Lahaina, my friends were there, spotting me, helping me. And then I had severe pains again. They had to call the ambulance to come pick me up. So we went back to the hospital, and they said, there's nothing wrong with you here. There's something wrong with you here. We told you not to do anything. So I was like, well, shit, I'm going home, and tomorrow's Friday, and that's I'm working out again because that's my last day of the week that I train. I went and just kept doing it, got better and better and better. And that was it. So, but what changed me was I took about 10 days of pills, which was blood thinners, and I threw them away.
Shit, so bad.
I threw them away. I said, I don't want them. And Spartacus, I started doing different things. I started learning about pasta, bread, which I would eat every single day.
Did you eat like shit?
Well, I don't want to say it's shit.
Yeah.
But I ate pasta every...
Joe's like, he'd eat Krispy Kreme donuts. Or not Krispy Kreme, but donuts.
Sugar pops or something? I was making a joke with him. I was joking with him. I was making a joke with him. He doesn't get jokes too much. No, he doesn't. Joe, you don't get jokes too much, Spartacus. So yeah, I always got to watch what I say to him. For real.
How do you think I feel?
Yeah. Sugar pops. No, something pops. I said, yeah, I sprinkle it over my liver. That's what I told him. So I just changed my diet, and then he got me into this no carb thing, which was great. And once I stopped doing carbs and I started training for a race in Lake Tahoe again, I went and did a race in Lake Tahoe after 2 years, and I got 4th place out of 60 people. So that was my new, if you want to say, diet.
How long was that race?
21 miles. So that's how I really got into it, because it obviously was working. No carbs, just meats, fats, lots of fats. And I don't eat much vegetables. I can't stand them. But so that's the diet I'm on. I'm not going to say it's a diet. I hate saying it's a diet. It's just a different life.
Well, it's a different life.
So it's not like what I eat, it's what I don't eat. I don't eat shit. I don't eat any kind of processed foods, even though pasta is like God to me because I'm Italian. I don't have any pasta. I don't eat no bread. If you went
back to Italy, you'd eat pasta, right?
No, I wouldn't.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, I've done this for so many years now. There's no sense doing it.
Well, he could be lying, but Joe said if we ever go to Italy, that's when he'll eat bread and pasta.
You and Spartacus go to Italy and eat pasta. I'm just not going to eat it because I don't have any desire for it. I'm sure people who are doing what I'm doing, when I see bread and in bagels and stuff in the store, I don't even think about buying that.
So you're not on any medication?
Absolutely not. 0.
You're a badass.
I haven't been on medication since 10 days after my operation. And I was, well, no, I was in the hospital still, I think 10 days after. Because they inject morphine and stuff in your neck, yeah.
Have they checked you anymore since then?
I haven't been. And I was supposed to go, and when they did call me, I said, look, if I have a problem, I'll call you.
Do you think maybe nothing would have happened if they wouldn't have done that?
No, something would have happened.
Yeah.
Dr. Johnson, I'm going to give him a plug here, and I think he's in Kahalui, but he used to be in Lahaina. He actually saved my life. Because if I didn't do that, I know the way I am mentally. I mean, I was having that problem for over a year, almost 2 years. Damn. And my brother even said to me, you need to get it checked out. And he's a medic, so what the hell, yeah? Yeah. And I wouldn't do it. But I was just so happy to be there. I thought it was cool, the machine and all the plugs. And and I thought it was pretty neat. And I didn't think it'd be nothing. Yeah. But it was. So he actually, if he didn't do that, I would have probably had a heart attack. Doesn't mean I would have died, but maybe I would have. You just don't know. I was in the hospital. They were coming in. Well, only happened once because I wouldn't let them come back in again. They came in with a big brochure of wheelchairs and walkers for me while I was sitting in the bed.
And I said,
I didn't say nothing.
You got me twisted.
I didn't say nothing bad to the lady because she's just doing her job.
Of course.
But she came in a big glossy book, showing me, standing right next to me. And go, I don't want to see that, ma'am. I don't want to see that. She goes, oh, okay, I'll come back another time. And then my nurse came in. I said, I don't want anybody ever like that coming in my room. So they never came back in. And they had somebody actually come in and talk to me about suicide. It's pretty freaky. Shit. Because the way
I was... Is that like protocol?
Well, I guess it was in my case because of shit that I was saying. Is I can get out this fucking window. I'm not going to live like this. You know, I was being vocal. So I know my nurses and neurosurgeons must say something to somebody. And the mentality is the first time I saw myself, I threw up. When I saw myself in the mirror, I went down to 137 pounds. Holy shit. I was a skeleton.
How much do you weigh now?
Now I weigh about 150 something, but when I went in, I weighed almost 170.
How did your face go back to normal?
I don't know. Maybe it's not normal.
You got plastic surgery?
No, what's wrong with you? Plastic surgery. No, it's just like when it would just droop when you have a stroke. I mean, people who have strokes, that's what you'll see. You'll see them droop. Yeah, you have the droop. And so one of the first things that you actually feel, I felt, was I'd be in my bed at home, and I feel rain on me, and I'd be like, God, this fucking roof's got a leak. I feel little droplets of water. I remember when I was talking to the lady the neurosurgeon, she goes, that's your nerves coming back. Wow. You can feel like little droplets of water, just tiny, tiny. And you'll have that for maybe years. And I've had it for years. Once in a blue moon, I can feel it. Once in a really blue moon. And my buddy's wife, he was just here, and me and him went to Christmas Island again. Me and her were talking. I said, yeah, when that happened to me, I said, I felt like the water was dropping. She goes, oh, me too.
That's crazy.
It's pretty neat how your body responds, yeah?
Yeah. But
the thing is just, you don't give up. That's the problem. There are people who just give up and want to live like that, and I couldn't live like that.
Hell yeah. Well, you're healthy. You look great.
Oh, thanks.
You feel great, don't you?
Yeah, I'm good. Only thing is, I got to eat liver. It's disgusting.
Well, you'll have those supplements, just like Joe with those He's like, you need to eat testicles. It'll help your PMS. I'm like, Well, liver is great liver is really, really good for women. I know it,
it
but
is
I can't.
Really, it's so good.
I've tried.
Because you women lose blood. We don't. Okay. We can actually get poisoning from the liver if we eat too much of it.
Really?
Because we don't bleed. So it's like,
Too much iron, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So they recommend people who eat a lot of liver, meaning men, should give blood once in a while. But I bleed every other week. I'm always walking in the sun getting cut up.
I was about to say.
But for women, it's really important to take iron.
Yeah.
All right. Well, It was good to do your thing.
I have one more question. I'm so happy you came on. You said some good stuff. I knew you would.
Well, I don't mean to be negative
You're
about
a cool
some
cat
stuff. But
sometimes.
I speak the truth.
When you ain't calling me the wrong name and saying where I'm not from.
Well, if your name doesn't pop up on my phone.
We've known each other. How long have we known each other? We've known each other for about 4 years. That's how long I've been here. But he didn't really know my name because I bartended at Betty's and he played music.
And then homie started wanting to swoop on you.
Yes, and then homie Spartacus swooped on me and he swooped and then...
Did I ask you your name one time or something? What did I say to you?
Yes.
Yeah, but I got mixed up with another girl.
Yeah.
But that was my fault. I had nothing to do with him.
I was like, oh, he's just asking for every girl.
No. He
Remember, it was a thing.
He was talking about it was a blonde girl, works the bartender. And I'm like, oh, I know who it is. And I picked the wrong girl.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was talking about. And he's like, no, not that one. Fuck that one. Oh, shit.
This is going to be a good question for you because you're musically inclined.
I'm musically declined.
No, you not.
So
I asked a question at the end of my podcast to everybody because I have a playlist on Spotify. And since we talk about travel and running around and wandering and doing whatever, I asked, what is a song that reminds you of home? And home doesn't have to be like where you were born or where you're from. It could be just that feeling of home.
Well, that's not a home. I don't know what home is.
Home for me is the song that I picked.
It ain't the Bronx, even though that's where I say that's where I'm from.
But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't.
But it doesn't have to be that.
Think about, just like you said, paradise is a frame of mind. Home is the same thing.
I'll give you a poem from a song.
A poem?
No, it's not a poem. Just a. And I'm not going to do one of my songs, but I'll do a song. I'll do like it's a song, but it's a poem, and that way you'll have it on recorder.
Okay.
This is what reminds me of freedom and peace. Like this is the only peace peace for me. Well, the only peace I think of is either two places, either being in the ocean or being in a woman's arms. Now that's not the poem, but that's peace. So this, when I hear this, if I decide to play it, when I do listen to it, which I don't listen to it hardly at all, but when I do, this is it, or I'll write it down. Lost on a painted sky, where the clouds are hung for the poet's eye, you may find him, if you may find him.
That.
Yeah, it's cool.
Is it a song or is it
a song? It's a song.
You have to tell me the song.
I'm not telling you a song. I just told you.
It's your song.
It's not my song. It's somebody's song.
Well, let me know it so I can add it to my playlist. I'm making a playlist of all the people's songs.
Oh, you won't like it. You won't like it?
How the hell do you know?
Because there's no this in it.
I listen to everything, but yeah, I do like it. I do like that.
Some of you can shake your butt too.
Okay, you got me there. Okay, Armadillo, where do I tell them to listen to your music?
Don't listen to my music.
Yes, listen to his music.
No, don't listen to it because I don't want any accolades of it.
Why? He has a song called "I Love Nutella."
That's terrible. That's a terrible song. That's a terrible video. It's terrible.
But yeah,
I have a lot of music.
He wrote a song about "I Love Nutella" because of what? It was about a girl.
They're all about
that.
We just made a mess of a hotel.
They made a mess of a hotel with some Nutella, and that's all we're gonna disclaim.
That was just a fun type of song.
Give us a little picking and grinning before you go.
Pick and grin.
Yeah, it sounded so good earlier. Oh, you were playing that Jimmy Buffett song, weren't you? R.I.P. That's sad. Smoke on the water.
There you go.
That's it?
That could be your theme song for your...
Okay, I don't mind that.
I'm a rocker, man. Rock and roll. That's my day.
I like that song.
Yeah.
That's it, y'all. I can't believe I got him on here.
Y'all. Y'all have fun in Kentucky.
That was
Thank
good,
you so
Arma.
much. When I die, don't play this at my funeral.